Mbolo, I'm the island on fire. As we reflect on this day, I'd like to share a couple of stories with you. I'm curious to know whether you've been in a similar situation. If so, what did you do? The first story began during my ultimate high school years. While still in the uniform, which was mandatory in the country, I wanted to check the news, therefore turned on the television. Euronews used to run news every quarter to half hour. It might still be the case. When I turned on the television, I was shocked by what I saw. It was not a movie, it was reality. And I remember shouting and getting my cousin's attention and later my parents. Frantically, we tried to reach out to my siblings who had recently moved to the US for their studies. At the time, it was cell phones were not common. Therefore, we had to use our landline and try to get access to a phone card that will allow us to call internationally. And in order to call the landline on their end, phone lines were busy. It was frantic. It was scary. I was also planning to move to the US years later to pursue my studies in aeronautical and aerospace engineering, which clearly had to change as many people were no longer comfortable with foreign nationals going into the field. Fast forward about a decade later, completed my undergraduate as well as my graduate studies. I live and work in the city, and my nieces are visiting the city of New York for the first time, staying with me. I happily walk them around, show them all the sights, and when we get to the pools, they ask, "Why are these here?" So their parents and I proceed to describe what happened, and the first reaction is, why was it a big deal? We see that in the movies all the time. Planes crashing into buildings, people screaming, shouting, and all that. And also, to them, it was normal to have gone through TSA at the airport on their way to New York City. It was also quite normal to hear about the US military presence, increased US military presence in the Middle East. To us, those were all new things, but it was difficult to find a way to explain to them, because we're not trying to teach them hatred, but we want them to learn forgiveness, understanding, love, patience, and much more. But one cannot escape from this very painful topic, not feeling upset. Therefore, I'm curious to know, have you been in a similar situation? If so, how did you break it? When did you ever encounter one of the 10,000 and have to explain to them what 9/11 is about? If so, how did you do it? How did you share? And how do you think we should move on? The whole world should move on, or should we move on